And we're
But
live. Welcome everyone to the Afterburn Soccer Show. I'm your host Nathan Hill. You can follow me at Nathan J Hill. And with me once again, gotta we're gonna have to pitch in for a new motherboard for him or something to figure out what's up with these
I just got a new
USBs.
motherboard. Maybe that's the issue.
Oh well, that's weird. Well, here I'll put
There you
picture,
go. I,
your
I look
photo.
better there anyway.
That's all right. And welcome our good friend Jose Carmona at El Chico Carmona. We're live here on YouTube. Of course, we'll be sharing this on Twitter and doing a podcast audio later on as we begin breaking down the interesting and exciting bit of action this weekend as FC Dallas got a big home victory over Los Angeles FC. Of note in this, I have some highlights we'll share as we talk, but of note is this is the first time we saw our three designated players play together in a match. And it wasn't because the coach didn't want them to play, it's because uh, we've had guys banged up and injured. It's just been hard to get them all on the field. But Alan Velasco got the start, Jesus Ferreira got the start, and of course, Petar Musa got the start. And what we saw uh, was some beautiful, beautiful action after the just picking up to where this team was, and after a tough week before. So let's just get started with that, Jose. Let's just start off with your thoughts. How did the three designated players look together?
They, you know, the end result says it all. They look great. Now, it wasn't perfect. There's clearly some disconnect, uh, like Jesus and Musa. And that's what happens when you don't have them playing together, when they haven't played together a lot. So there's some disconnect, but clearly you could see that each one individually was playing great, and the team looked great. I mean, it's the best. This is the sexiest attacking soccer we've seen all season, in all honesty, and that was more on as far as those three are concerned. Like I said, they're not even on the same page. That's just an individual talent alone, and it just shows you what this team could have been if we had these three guys together all season. uh, you would then, see an evolution as they learn to play with each other, and then we'll have to wait till next season for that, I guess. But for now, I'm very happy with some stellar individual play from the three of them.
Yeah, it was. And we're starting to see some of the highlights there. We love this opening goal from Petar Musa. Good to see him back. Just a professional goal, lashing it in. Tough for any keeper to save. It's why we paid big bucks for this guy, for this striker. And I think he has definitely exceeded expectations. If you recall back when, beginning of the season, when FC Dallas brought him in, there was concern because he had been a guy that mostly at a high quality place, Benfica. He had played a lot of sort of super sub kind of roles, and he had success there. But he was surrounded with quality players, and maybe the game state favored him a little bit. So there were some question marks about, oh, how is he going to fit in a full 90 minutes? Can he really lead the line? And the guy, uh, regardless that the season hasn't gone well, has been everything, worth every penny that has been paid. And he of course came off, had a little knee contusion, basically a coming together of knees with another player, and was subbed off early. And then to add misery to everything, you have Logan Farrington come in, who ends up with a goal and an assist in his own right, which I'm sure we're going to see here in a couple of minutes. Just some amazing play all around. Patrickson Delgado, another name that we just get to celebrate too, getting another goal after what he was coming on really strong before going down injured as well. Another one of those stories of just the season of injuries that just a bit unfortunate, and we'll always wonder what. Just give us your sense of both Delgado and Farrington getting goals in this one too. What does that mean for those young players and their future at FC Dallas?
Well, Delgado, I believe, is still on a loan, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, this is a guy who, frankly, when he went down, was playing really good soccer already, um, but not enough for us to say, we should buy him. But I mean, this game was a game where I think some of us were surprised that he was starting and that Velasco was starting. And sure enough, he comes out here and he shows us that, hey, he's a player that if the price is right, FC Dallas should definitely buy,
Yeah.
because it solves the issue of who's going to be next to Ilara next year. And if Ilara doesn't return, who's going to be the rock? Then Delgado could be that guy. Um, I'm excited to see what else he can do paired up with Ilara, or with Show. If Ilara misses time, being a older player, he's bound to miss time, because not because he wants to, but because the coach might want to rest him here and there. And by missing time, I mean not starting.
Yeah.
not, not that he'd be injured. We had plenty of that going around. No, I'm excited from what I saw. I think I was surprised that he was starting. I was surprised, like I said, I was also surprised that Velasco was starting. These are guys coming off of injuries, and even more surprised that they both played excellent football out there. Was really missed, and you can see the quality that they brought to this team that this team has been missing.
Yeah, and well, of course, the context of this whole match too was that midweek Dallas traveled to Real Salt Lake, and it was just one of those games again where this team couldn't put it all together and sort of served. They were their own worst enemy in moments of just a little lack of organization, a lack of cohesion, getting beat in key moments, being a bit unlucky too. I mean, all of that goes together in these games, and played actually fairly decently to get 2 goals in Real at Salt Lake is not an easy task. But weren't able to find that the next one, and so there's a lot of question marks whether guys like Velasco, who got a lot of minutes uh, in Salt Lake, would even get time. Would be rested or whatever. So to see him start, I was pretty surprised about that too. Um, and Delgado, yeah, who we just haven't been sure since coming back from injury, and with Show, who uh, Kafumana, who's played pretty well in his own right. Yeah, just there's a lot of competition in spots. The team is healthy right now, so it raises a lot of, and also Tafari being dropped from the start of this one, which a lot of us were scratching our heads about that. And Omar Gonzalez played pretty well. We have,
Omar had his best game of the season.
yeah.
It good enough to say maybe he should earn another start. Not necessarily at Tafarai's expense, but certainly played well enough that I don't think any of us would be upset if he got another start.
Yeah, I mean, so all of a sudden this team has some depth in key areas, looking healthier, and so it's sort of a challenge for Peter Luxon to get the right mix on the roster. But let's go ahead and hear from him from the post game. This is a question that came in from um, uh, Drew Epperly, our friend Drew over at Big D. Here's how he just said kind of his thoughts about what went well with the match.
I would say that more compactness a little bit. When we start playing a little bit more in the 5-4-1 in the mid block. So not so much spaces between players and between lines. For me, it was the key because it was hard for them to play through the middle. Even in the first half, where they have like a 2 or 3 shot and that shooting zone that we could avoid. But no, I think that again is the thing with that group that no doubt the effort that they are putting every single game is huge. So now it's just I'm not going to tell you guys that we need time because it's not time right now. But I'm very proud of them again. But we didn't do anything yet. It's just like a 3 point, and let's see what the other team is going to do. But we know all know as a fan, and we all know that we're going to fight until the end.
They haven't done anything yet. This win is good, but they are still on the outside. FC Dallas is still on the outside looking up at Minnesota and Portland. And of course, they do play Portland in Portland coming up, so that'll be a big, big game for them. Yeah, and I think right now with the way things are looking, while there still is a chance that FC Dallas can make the playoffs, and it's not like everything has to go exactly right. But if FC Dallas wins out every game, they'll be in the shout for that. But they still need help. They're going to need Minnesota. They're going to need Portland, one of those two teams, to drop points, and that's a tough sell. I mean, with those teams' schedules, but we'll see. We'll see what can happen. It's chaos happens. I mean, just watch your confidence level right now, Jose. After this win, we didn't get the win in Salt Lake, which was a disappointment, but probably to be expected. Got the win tonight, and the team again. We saw three designated players starting. They have a week off until to next Saturday, next Sunday, for their next coming weekend, their next match. Can they make a run here, or is it gonna be? Are they gonna be? Is it just too little, too late? I mean, I don't know. What's your thoughts, Jose?
Well, I think it warms our heart to see them play the way they played against LAFC, and they need to play like that to even stand a chance. I mean, let's face it, it's an uphill battle. Um, a lot of things need to go FC Dallas way, but one way that they can make their own luck is by playing the way they played against LAFC the rest of the year. And if they can do that on a more consistent basis and get hot, they really need to run the table. That's the bottom line, and that's the easiest path to the playoffs. And even then, it's just to be a low seed. But I mean, it would be something. I think this gave us a little bit of hope for everybody. Like I said, this is the best looking that we've seen, and I would say the Sixers, the attack has looked all year. And let's face it, they didn't really play that bad against RSL. They lost that match mainly through individual mistakes. Um, RSL good teams punish you when you make a mistake, when an individual makes a mistake, and we had multiple individuals make a mistake that hurt the team against RSL. But let's face it, that was actually they looked pretty good in a loss. And then they built on that and came out and played really good against a struggling LAFC team. While it's a good victory, it's a home victory. LAFC came in and played like a struggling team, and not just that. You got to remember that this was a trap game for LAFC because in 2 days they're playing in the U.S. Open Cup final. So it could also be the LAFC was looking ahead
Yeah,
to that match and looking at Dallas and going, it's a struggling Dallas is a struggling team. We should be able to deal with these guys, and simply overlook Dallas. So I'm very happy to see Dallas put LAFC away because let's face it, they've got two home games left that they need to win, and they're going to have to win at least one road game. And you got the game at San Jose, which is a struggling team right now. And seeing them put a team like LAFC to the sword, a team that's struggling, gives me hope that they'll be able to go to San Jose and put that team to the sword. It gives me a glimmer of hope. Doesn't mean it'll happen, but uh, Dallas needs to grab whatever they did,
yeah,
lightning in a bottle, and unleash it for the rest of the season. And frankly, get as many points as they can in the remaining games. And like I said, it would be a dream for them to win every match, but we know that's not going to happen. Just win your home games and get a road game. They're gonna have to pull a victory against San Jose or Portland, one of those two, and
yeah.
have some luck go their way. I mean, even with that, I think we still need a little luck, but who knows, man? It's you gotta make your luck, right? Put yourself
Right.
in a position to benefit from somebody else's bad luck, and that's all you can really do.
Yeah, I mean this weekend's game on Saturday against Orlando is going to be a fascinating one, just because Orlando's a great team, and Pareja is they didn't start I think the season well, but have come along, are one of the top five teams in the Eastern Conference, and so are certainly in the thick of things, and will want to come away with some points. So this is not going to be a gimme. It's going to be a tough matchup. Um, yeah, San Jose, that team is struggling. if FC Dallas loses, I think you know, which crazier things have happened. You know, it'll probably be the cap at the end of the season essentially. It's and at Sporting Kansas City, the final game at home, that'll be interesting to see because Sporting Kansas City could come out and play with a bunch of fire and try to spoil FC Dallas's push. But because Sporting Kansas City now, even though they're playing in the Cup game Wednesday night, they're out of playoff contention. So they regular season they're going to be potentially, you know, trying to think about next season. Players making a case for sticking around, and so you just never know what can happen in that kind of game. The Portland game is the most interesting one. If Dallas can get a point, if Dallas can go up there and make something spectacular happen, we'll wait and see. You know, I'm not holding my breath on that because Portland has probably the best player in the league right now, and that's no disrespect to Lionel Messi. But Evander, I've been seeing his numbers, people talking about that guy's numbers, and it's just they're insane. They're just insane. Like 14 goals, 18 assists or something. It's just insane. It's not fair, like cheat code level. Um, but you know, so Portland's not going to certainly be. It's going to be a tough place. It's going to be tough to get a result there, and they're pushing as well for their playoff positioning. So we'll see. We'll see what this team can do. You expect at least 6 points. You get 2 home wins. You expect the game against San Jose to at least get. You got to get 3 points there. So 9 points. Is that enough? Will that be enough in Minnesota? Maybe who are, let's see, how far are they? I think they're 5 points ahead, right?
Yeah, but 9 points will be enough if you one of those victories comes against Portland. So I mean that match would practically be a playoff match, in all honesty, if you think about it. And Sporting,
Right. Portland
when
and
we
yep,
say
that's
well,
right.
the thing with the Sporting game is that Sporting doesn't really have anything to play for at all in that match, and I don't mean it's just spoiler. You got to remember that they're in the U.S. Open Cup final, and they've already clinched a spot in the CCL.
Yeah.
So they do have something to look forward to next season because of that. They're already in. They don't get a playoff spot. They don't have a. I mean, honestly, they're a team that frankly will only play in. I'm not sure how you get that a team like that motivated to play in that match, knowing that your season's over and you've got things to look forward to next season. You know.
Well, sure, but I know there might be some guys. You might see Polito, who's probably not going to be around with Kansas City after this season, and maybe he's playing for that one final contract for, to go somewhere, and he wants to show potential teams. Yeah, so that's always just the the thing is that they don't have anything to play for, so maybe that's the most dangerous. They'll just go out and play. And whereas Dallas may still be feeling pressure to get the full 3 points. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see. It's yeah, I mean 5 points. If Minnesota drops some things, if Portland, there's we'll see, we'll see.
Well,
But
you know what? Here, I think the game that worries me the most is the Orlando game in 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 Frisco. I mean, Orlando's a team that will try to bunker and counter, and that's something that's always uh, been an Achilles heel for FC Dallas. Being unable to break down teams that decide to play defensive, and Orlando's more than happy to do that on the road and just hit FC Dallas on the counter. That's something that with the LAFC match, I had said our previous podcast was LAFC wasn't going to bunker. They were going to try to run. They were going to try to try a high line and try to attack. And FC Dallas has always thrived against those teams. Doesn't mean they're going to win, but I'm just saying the offense has always uh, feasted against teams that simply won't bunker against
mm-hmm.
them. It's breaking down the teams that will bunker that whether it's a low block or mid block that costs issues for SC Dallas and Orlando will be more than happy to do that. And that's the one game that worries me. Not because I don't think that we can't beat them. Is that I think that Orlando is capable of coming to Dallas and leaving with a draw and a draw at home.
Right.
It might as well be a nail in the coffin.
Right. Right.
So that's my I've said of all the matches remaining, that's the one that concerns me the most is Orlando, and the way they play is the style of play that just gives FC Dallas fits. I think they can get 3 points on the road against San Jose, and I think they'll do quick work of a team in Sporting that really won't have anything to play. I don't think they have anything to play. I don't think they have any reason to do anything other than play for pride. So honestly, I think Orlando and Portland are probably the two toughest matches left.
Mm. But I agree with you. I think this Saturday game is going to be a tough one. I mean, Orlando's a great team, a great talent, and Perea, he knows how to grind out results in a game like this, in a situation like he'd be very happy with a point this late in the season. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to see how the team can pick up the pieces and the good threads from this past game and sort of continue to weave something special. Because I again, like Alan Velasco, it was just so much fun to see him out there again and see him gaining confidence again and the speed of the game and dribbling out of triple teams in situations, passing the ball. I mean, it reminds us why this club invested so much in him and why he still has so much to offer. And remember, there was some talk about just selling him this past summer, just moving
I
on from
know.
him. You know,
Some of our fans are so pessimistic about everything. They were like, "Let's just get rid of him." He's showing you right now why he's so highly thought of. I mean, he looked just. This is a guy coming off an injury, going out there and looking that way and starting. I mean, let's face it. I was stunned he was starting. I was stunned how long he played, and he looked dangerous with the ball at his feet. He- this is him not even at 100%.
mhm.
Just imagine how much better he'll be next season, uh, with a full camp on him, 100%, a year older, a year wiser, a year more dangerous. You're starting to see what why everyone's so high on this kid is because if he can bottle that, I mean, let's face it, if he can give us that kind of performance every match the rest of the year, that's the kind of player that can elevate you
Yeah.
into the playoffs. And I think that's what we're getting a little excited about is that if Velasco can play the way he played against AFC for the rest of the year, we've got a shot.
Yeah, I did ask Luke Solon after the game, kind of about rotation, if we're still going to see some, you know, tweaking of the lineups from here on out. But he is at this point feeling like, we've got to go with our best 11, with some tweaks based on the opponent and things. But which may be a hint that what we saw on Saturday was pretty close to the best 11 for FC Dallas. And so, and by the way, kudos to Delgado. I know that there's some voting going on for the next round of the MLS under 22, and at least Matt Doyle uh, of MLS Soccer put Delgado at number 9, which was a nice sneaky pick. But Delgado's been that good of a loan signing and hopefully a permanent signing if things work out.
And keeps the that streak of FC Dallas consistently placing players in the top 10
Yeah.
of that list year in and year out. Just not the guy you thought you'd see on that list. Not that it's final yet, but uh, it tells you the kind of talent. Another young player that is balling out and coming off of surgery. Like I said, another guy who's come back and now we can just get Giovanni Jesus to come in and repeat what those guys are doing. We're gonna be cooking.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, yeah, and Jesus Ferreira playing really well. It's so good to see. I mean, he- yeah, when he's off, he's off, and everyone sees it. But when he's on, we remember why. He earned the first homegrown designated player contract. I mean, he is just a difference maker. He is an absolute baller, and I'm hoping that maybe this season, if nothing else, it serves as a catalyst for him to want to take his game to the next level. He
And
still has so much room to grow.
yeah, and I mean some of the passes he's making are just oh my goodness, Chef's kiss. You can't see me making it, but my God, uh, even if they don't come off, you see those moments of danger that Jesus, can create, and he's still doing the whole. I don't know what position he's playing because he's all over the field, but if the team can figure out a way to work around that and make it work, I mean, he's definitely more dangerous when the ball's at his feet, and he knows it. And yeah, it's exciting to see him get healthy and come back. And it's just, you know what? Here's the thing: is all the issues we've had all season. You see these guys healthy, you see them playing, and you start to see why this team was built the way it was built and how it was supposed to work. But injuries simply in a league like this with a salary cap, you can't simply have as many injuries as FC Dallas has had. And Paxton, Velasco, Delgado, Jesus, uh, Giovanni. Those are five guys that should be starting for this team, or at least competing for starting positions.
Yeah.
You just can't overcome that in this league. And having those guys healthy, it fixes a lot of issues. Honestly, it only leaves one true issue, and that is, hey, we still need a center back.
Mhm. Well, let's shift over before we begin to wrap up the show, and let's talk about North Texas. And I just
Oh
a 1-1 game. Going in to going into deep into extra time. North Texas welcomed Austin. It looked like it was going to be a penalty shootout until it was actually Diego Garcia who does just the wonderful
He
thing.
had Ramirez across. He didn't see him. It's cut out. And North Texas come back the other way. Pedrinho, it's lovely skill. Diego Garcia, he could win it. Oh, you bet.
wow,
Just
Diego
fabulous!
Garcia wins it for North Texas with just seconds remaining. It's a
That's
goal that
amazing.
will
and
clinch the number
Pedrinho.
one seed in the West for.
And as the announcer said, their number one seed in the West officially clinched, which means North Texas will have home field advantage all the way. So excited for this team, these players, for the coaching staff putting together what has just been an incredible season. Of course, still some a game or two to play, and some work to be done and things. And of course, they're going to want to show out well. So plenty of reason there to watch some postseason action, regardless of what happens with with FC Dallas's postseason games. Yeah, two more games, one on the road, one at home. So North Texas still has plenty of chance to pad that number one seed a little bit and be in good form going into the postseason. But just another, we've been talking a lot of kudos to this team. Fighting the heroics, the will to fight to the last minute, and get the game winner. If they can do that in the playoffs, they're going to go deep. They're going to go deep into the playoffs.
Oh, they most definitely should go deep. I mean, with the home field advantage, uh, I think if this team doesn't make it to the Western Conference Final, it would be seen as a disappointment. And the one thing that I liked about this game, it was their key players that came up and won that game for them. We're talking Fonseca, we're talking Garcia. They have players that have carried them. Salih was out there, Ramirez was out there, and this team is starting to hit its stride at the right moment. Not that they weren't already hitting their stride. It just seems like they've been a good team and are simply getting better. I think this team is peaking at the right time, and I'm looking forward to the playoffs for this team. This is a team that I think is good enough to win MLS Next Pro, and I would at least hope to see them make the final this year, and frankly return this team to where it belongs. I mean, this team's always been one of the toughest teams in the reserve, the MLS reserves, whether it's in Next Pro or in USL League One, and I'm happy to see them find their groove again, and and doing it with signing young players. Signing a lot of young players, a lot of academy players, a lot of up and coming players. And this year, you don't have what we've had in the past couple of seasons, where they brought in unknown, you know, foreign players
Mm-hmm.
that didn't pan out. This year, they changed it up, signed a lot of young talent, a lot of young local talent, or young talent from other academies around the league, and you're seeing that model is working, and hopefully that's something they can build on going into not just this postseason but into next season. Keep signing those young players, commit to giving them minutes in North Texas, and becoming a power in MLS Next Pro.
Mm.
Not just a power, but a team that hopefully other teams will begin to emulate. The top two teams in MLS Next Pro are, with no surprise to me anyway, FC Dallas and Philadelphia Union too, and two teams that are, leaning on their academies to do all the work, and other teams should be taking note of that you can lean on your academy and have success.
Well, good stuff. We have a lot to look forward to, and we'll continue to bring the coverage. I still working on. I have an interview with Turner Humphrey from North Texas, and he was a super draft pick with FC Dallas, but signed with North Texas. I still have that in the works. It should hit the site
Yeah.
this week. Look for a good conversation with him about his time with North Texas so far, and his dreams and aspirations, because I think that is the goal for North Texas, is to find these exciting young players and help them take the next step and see who can make that jump. It's just an amazing season, and credit to not only John Gall for his leadership as head coach, but now to Michelle, who is proving to be a good motivator, a good coach. Maybe you could say he's spoiled a little bit with such a good roster, but you gotta motivate the guys. You gotta put them in place to win, and he is doing that.
Yeah, I want to say though, I said that Philadelphia Union and FC Dallas, two of the best academies, but I want to make it clear that FC Dallas no longer has one of the top three academies in the league. You could argue that they don't even have one of the top five academies in the league, but they are still a top academy, and they're a team that doesn't have the Pepis, and Cannons and all these young Reynolds and young guys that they had you know seemingly a lot of when they were the top academy. The Union are that team. They have all the top talent, the top academy in the league, and they should be one of the top teams in the reserve league. But FC Dallas has found a way to maximize the involvement of the academy players that they do have, and even though they don't no longer have a top five academy, they have a lot of. It's not because it's because they don't have the top end talent that they used to have. They have a lot of talent spread out, and the team has figured out a way to maximize these players' exposure to the pro team, and it's paying off. They found a way to evolve the team, evolve the academy, evolve everything to work as a one. And like I said, other teams can emulate what FC Dallas is doing and say, hey, look, they've committed to it. They've committed to their academy. They're not the top academy anymore, but they have a lot of talent, and they've maximized the usage of that talent.
Well, let's leave it there. We have a lot to look forward to. Good week ahead, and looking forward to FC Dallas welcoming Orlando, and North Texas will travel to face. Oh, I just saw it there. Was it who do they
I
face?
just had scheduled too.
I just had it too. Sporting Kansas City. They go up to Kansas City. So it'll be exciting to see how they, manage these next couple of games and to be prepared for playoff postseason action. Well, thanks, Jose. Hopefully, we'll get your camera working again next time. But
One of these days, right? We'll get it. We'll get it working.
get it consistent. Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Well,
And you know what? Sporting's not a very tough team, so I wouldn't be surprised if they experiment a little in this match. Since they don't really have anything to play for. Uh, I would still hope that they stick to their top 11 and get them playing as a unit more often. But I wouldn't be surprised if they experiment a little against Sporting, since, like I said, it's not a top team, and let's face it, North Texas needs to make sure that their best players are healthy for the playoffs.
Yeah, and I mean the only thing to play for, although I don't think there really is a supporter shield equivalent, but to get some points out of these last games, they will end up at the top team in MLS Next Pro, which they currently are at 57 points. Closest is Cincinnati with 51 and St. Louis at 50.
And how many games are left?
Just two. So
So I
worst
mean,
case, yeah,
I think they may have already clinched it. In all honesty, they may
yeah,
have already. It depends on the goal differential, which is 13, I think, for the next closest team, and goal differential for they've got the goal differential. It's 18-13.
okay,
So they haven't clinched it, but I think as long as they get a draw or a
yeah,
point, they'll have clinched. What essentially would be the shield, which I think they would be happy to do. They might even go all out against Sporting to get at least a point, and then futz around in the last game.
yeah. Well, good. We'll leave it there. Of course, check us out at afterburn.soccer and, subscribe wherever you find podcasts. We appreciate all your support. It's been quite an interesting season. A few more games left, and we'll see how it all shakes out. All right. Thanks, Jose.